Welcome to the Whitetail Obsession Podcast with Dave Richmond and co-host Chris Worthing, where we talk and teach everything deer and turkey hunting related. Follow along as we help teach you tips and techniques about hunting, food plots, and habitat management strategies that everyone can use.
Podcast 89 is 44 degrees and Chris is still sick.
1 month in, I still got bronchitis.
Dude,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
You sound like death still.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
What is going on?
I don't even have a stand hung yet. It's just a struggle to get through a 10-hour day of welding when you have this.
So we recorded a podcast a month ago, and that's when you were sick. You were sick.
Yep.
Here we are a month later. You're
Yep.
still sick, and you have missed the what? Past two podcasts?
Two. Yep. Because computer crash again.
So you took it in to get it fixed. They fixed it. You came back.
Yep.
You recorded one episode, right?
One episode with it.
Then it went down again.
Went down again.
And now you just got it back yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Again. So here we are recording the same day of the podcast releases again.
Yep. It's September 8th.
7
in the morning, and we're going to have this out
by 5 p.m.
We'll have it back at 5, hopefully.
All right. Well, hopefully now you're back on track and we can get these out every Sunday.
New hard drive. It should last.
Yeah. And the screen's clearer too, so they boosted you up a little bit.
Yeah, we've got had some technical issues I got in settings, and we fixed some of that stuff up. So hopefully I look clearer.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you can breathe through this entire podcast. But so my hunting season started in Maryland.
Yeah, I didn't even realize you was hunting. You know that?
Mm-hmm.
I had forgotten that it was opening season. And by the way, not to throw a Debbie Downer in here, but I got a text from a guy yesterday morning and said, "Urgent prayer needed. The kid that we brought down to Maryland with us fell out of a tree."
What?
And his boy had to scoop him up and carry him to the truck and get him to the hospital. So one casualty already in Maryland down there by you.
Was it public land or private?
I'm not sure of the details yet, but this guy's actually a pastor, and he texted me this, and he's actually going to be here this week. So I'll see him later on here today at church. So let
me know where it was.
Yeah, I'll get more details where he was at.
So I saw yesterday this. I want to say it was Kent County, which is down Eastern Shore.
So you was on public land.
I was, yeah. But I'm talking about somebody else. They killed a giant buck. It was like a 14. Yeah, it was a 14-pointer. It's all over TikTok. Killed it on Maryland public land. So big ones are falling already. Season just started Friday. But Maryland's like a sleep. Nah, it was not. It was all rubbed off.
Nice.
But Maryland's like a sleeper state, man. There's big bucks in Maryland. Obviously there's not going to be as many as like the Midwest or something, but there's big ones fall. But anyway, my season started Friday, and I hunted Friday morning. I didn't hunt the afternoon. I had a party to go to, but Friday morning, I saw one buck out in the distance, out in in a swamp area, cut through the swamp. And my plan was it actually would skirt the edge of the swamp, but it actually went through the swamp.
Oh, wow.
So I was hunting like this pinch point where the swamp comes around. Usually they travel around the edge of it, and I'm on this side of it up against the hardwoods with some thick stuff. So there's a little pinch point there, but this buck, for whatever reason, decided to go through the swamp. So anyway, that was Friday. Saturday I hunted. Pretty much all day. I came out for lunch, went back in, seen a few deer. I sent you the video of that one doe I saw, which was it had 3 legs. Looks like at the I guess elbow, it was blown off, but she had 2 fawns with her.
Oh, she did.
Yep,
cool.
had 2 fawns with her. They look healthy. The doe looked healthy minus the leg, but they all came feeding through a bunch of browse. I mean, they look healthy. So,
Resilient.
yeah. So I think they'll be okay. Um, I mean, somebody might shoot her, you know, being she has 3 legs, but I didn't really have a shot at them. But I don't think I would have shot anyway. I mean, they all 3 look healthy and
Yeah.
wasn't fresh, so should be okay. But we're going to talk about some public land do's and don'ts.
Mm.
And it's funny, last year we talked about this because I saw something with that crossbow, with the guy shooting arrows at like
Oh,
90
yeah.
90 yards, through the woods, and he wounded a 4-pointer. Well, this time I usually I stay quiet, in public land. If I see people in the parking lot, I'll talk to them like, "Hey, how you doing?" This, that, and the other. Well, this time I don't know, I was in some mood or whatever. So I started on Friday when I came out of the woods. There was one guy in the parking lot, and I decided to start a rumor. Any idea what that rumor would be?
No.
I told the guy came out, and he was putting his stuff in his truck, and it's just normal parking lot talk. What'd you see? Where'd you hunt at? This, that, and the other. I told him, I said, just way back in the back. That's all I say. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, I was hunting right over there in that tree right there up against the field line with the beans and stuff. I'm like, okay. He's like, you see a lot of deer here. I said, not really. I don't see much here. And I said, but there's a 6-pointer here that's running around. It's a piebald. He's like,
Mhm.
what? Really? It's a piebald 6-point? I said, yeah, man. I said, he's running around. I said, I seen him way down the end of the road there. He's like, oh man. He's like, oh, he's like, that's cool. Right. So then we talked for like 15 more minutes. I left. Right.
Mhm.
The next morning, I show up, same parking lot. I'm getting ready. Truck pulls in. This guy gets out of his car. Truck, different guy. He comes running over to me, and he's like, "Hey man," he's like, "Where you hunting at?" I said, "Going all the way in the back." He's like, "I've heard stuff." I'm like, "What?"
I've heard
He's like,
stuff.
"I heard stuff, man." I was like, "What are you talking? What'd you hear?" He's like, "Apparently there's a 6-point piebald running around here." I'm like, "Really?" I said, "Man, that's pretty cool." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, a couple buddies tell me about it yesterday." I said, "Oh, that's cool." And he's like, "Have you seen it?" I said, "Nah, man, I haven't seen no 6-point piebald." Right. So we go hunting. I hunt the morning, and I come back out in the parking lot. The guy was already gone. Right. So I went back to the check-in station because you have to sign out when you leave the the property.
Okay.
I and when I'm there, there's 3 trucks in the parking lot, and they're all sitting there talking. And I walk up, I sign in, and they're like, "Hey, did you see anything?" I said, "Nah, I didn't see nothing." They're like, "Yeah, we're sitting here talking about this 6-point piebald that's running around." All right, and I couldn't help but laugh. I said, "Really?" I said, "You're the second person to tell me this."
Oh
And
my.
right, I said, "Well, good luck." So I leave. I go get lunch. I come back. I sign back in. There's another guy there. He's like, "Hey, bud, you heard about a 6-point piebald running around?" I said, "Nah, I ain't heard nothing." Right.
What
So
the
I
heck?
Yep. So I go back to my parking area. There's another guy there, completely different guy, and he's like, "Hey, bud, I didn't want to mess you up, but where you're headed at?" I said, "I'm just taking this trail all the way to the very back." And he's like, "Okay." He's like, "I'll be right over on that far bean field." I said, "All right, that's fine. I ain't gonna mess nobody up." He's like, "Hey, have you heard anything about a 6-point piebald?"
Holy smokes.
I said, "No, man, I ain't heard nothing."
What the
My
flip?
point is this, that people talk.
Mhm.
People spread rumor. They I mean, you would think that, a big buck or, something like that is kept secret, but it's not. Every one person's going to tell this guy, he's going to tell everybody else, and then it completely spreads. I
Right.
never saw no 6-point piebald there. And if I did, I certainly wouldn't have told somebody.
Right.
But I mean, if you tell, it's not like it's wrong to do, but then just don't later on complain that your area was overcrowded with people.
Yeah. That's funny.
Isn't that funny?
But why do they care so much? I mean, like, is that
I
like some kind of trophy they want to shoot or something?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, a piebald is pretty. I mean, I guess it's rare, but I mean, to kill a 6-point piebald is pretty. I mean, I would kill it if I saw one.
Huh.
Um,
I mean, I've got one. I've got one on camera.
a piebald?
Yeah. Well, it's not. I don't know what you would classify it as. The white from the underbelly comes all the way up to the rib cage. It
Mm,
comes out, it comes up past the belly and all the way up, like where you would shoot it at. It comes all the way out that way.
I don't. I've never seen one like that. I don't know if that'd be considered a
I don't
piebald
know
or
what you
not.
consider that. I
You,
was out,
my understanding is just that it's patches of white throughout the.
right?
It could have like a white leg, patches of white. I
Yeah,
don't know. I guess they all classified differently, but
yeah. I don't know what it's classified as, but yeah, I was checking scrapes and tendon scrapes yesterday with my
mhm.
raw frozen scents.
I got some raw.
Yeah. So I brought home some SD cards yesterday from my
Mhm.
non-cellular cameras and was scrolling through them, and I thought, wow, that deer looks weird. And I zoomed in on it, and yeah, it's white all the way up past the boiler room there, and
Boiler
it
room.
was a buck too.
Oh, nice. I guess that'd be
So
considered a piebald, I guess. Could be.
yeah, I don't know,
Is that a buck you want to shoot?
probably not, but it might be a 6-point piebald.
Could be.
I could
Isn't
start a
that
rumor.
funny? Isn't that funny how fast that traveled?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't believe it.
Well, see, and that's okay. Where I was running cameras yesterday, I told you there's a rental cabin on top where I have to park,
Mhm.
and then you can go off whatever direction you'd like. Well, the um, maintenance guy for the area that works around the cabins, he showed up while I was walking in the road, and same thing. We was talking about all these people, that show up because they heard a rumor.
Yep.
You know, they hear somebody shot something there, and the next thing the next hunting season, you got an extra 8-10 guys back in there.
Mhm.
And we've talked about this before. Like I I shot a bear back there, and the next year there was like 20 people pushing around. Oh, we heard there was a nice bear shot back here. I was like, oh yeah, what'd you hear? Oh, got this bear, real nice fur and all. I said, did you hear how big it was? Oh, I don't know. Didn't really hear. Probably 300 pounds or so. I said, nah, 100, 146-pound female. Well, how do you know? I said, because I shot it. Oh, where'd you shoot it? I said, in the woods. I don't give up my information, but yeah,
Now, some people would say
I
that's
like
rude.
I like squashing rumors, to be honest. I
Yeah.
I like I like doing that because it took the air out of their wings, and I was like, "So what are you people doing here?" "Oh, we heard there was a bear shot." I said, "Yeah, well, if a bear was shot here, it's gone.
I
What?
know.
So why are you
I
back?"
yeah,
That's the part that irritates me.
I don't get it. Like
I
like
will tell you this though, not to interrupt you, but I will tell you this: I was checking those SD cards yesterday, and almost it's the same spot that I shot the bear 2 years ago. I got one on camera again.
nice.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get the whole somebody shoots something and then there's 10 people there because it's
It's
gone.
gone.
It's
It's
gone.
gone. It
Like,
may have sired a couple offspring.
yeah, but they move
It's gonna take
around.
years for them to grow up big enough to
Right.
hunt. And
Well,
yes, they do move.
that's like that velvet buck I shot on public land 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago with me and Zach. We get to the parking lot and everybody's like freaking out. They're like, "Oh my God, where'd you shoot that velvet buck? Like where at?" I'm like, "Down the road." They're like, "Well, where at?" "Down the road." Like, why do you want to know? It's
Right.
gone. Like there's bucks all through here. Like, why do you need to know the exact spot?
Yeah.
The buck is now gone in the bed of my truck and soon to be. I still haven't got it back, but soon to be on my wall. So Yeah, it's really weird. And some
Yeah.
guys will say too that when people ask where you're hunting at and you don't tell them, they'll say it's rude to do that, like you're just being a jerk. Hunters should help each other.
Why?
But like, what's your opinion on that?
See, I don't agree with that because why what we just said. I don't I don't give people exact locations because
It's hard
it's
to find a
just
spot.
it's just stupid because then you got 13 other people crawling all over you.
Hmm.
Last year, okay, for instance, last year, and I'm a public guy, so I mean, this is a perfect subject for me to talk about. Last year, I've got a what would it be? It would be an old tram road, is what it would have been from back in the early 1900s when they timbered this piece of property that I hunt. And it's a washed out old tram road. It's grown in, but it's still manageable, to walk or bicycle if you'd like. Um, I have an excellent scrape that I took over, and now it's like a community hub back there, and I get a lot of pictures on it. So it is state land, so anybody can traverse it. But my point is, people coming in and out of there, like I got pictures of people walking around with a coffee mug and flip flops in the middle of summer. Now, what are
Hmm.
you doing in the woods in July in flip flop shorts, tank top with a coffee mug, a mile and a half back in the woods? You know,
Yeah, it's weird.
just being nosy.
Right.
And then one of the adjoining landowners' son-in-laws was there. I don't have a problem with that. He's a hunter. He was back there looking for a spot too. But, you know, and then I caught a criminal on camera. I think I told you the place I was just talking about that has the rental cabin on it. Um some crackhead stole a truck, wrecked it, swam across the river, found this tram road that I hunt over and walked right past my cameras,
Hmm.
But they did catch the guy, so that was good. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's just once someone gets in an area and they've heard, and I don't know if my name ever comes up, but this guy shot something back there, and the next thing you know, they're back there, and there's
Yes, they
no
are.
reason for anybody to be that deep. I mean, I purposely go that deep so I never see anybody, but I'm looking at my trail cameras and I'm getting people on camera now walking around. I got a guy yesterday walking. Now, mind you, I'm on a hillside that is like, I'm not kidding, probably a 25% grade downhill with a bench. There's a dude walking across this bench. He's in Crocs, shorts, and he has a fishing rod in his hand. He's nowhere near water.
Hmm.
What is this guy doing?
Maybe he got lost.
I'm assuming. And the trail he's on has no good entrance or exit. It's a tram road that grew in on both ends. It's open in the middle, and that's where I have a camera because deer do like the cross right there. And that's an area where I shot a bear before. This dude was walking through the middle of the mountain with a fishing rod.
Odd.
It was really odd. I mean, I'm clicking through pictures and I'm getting doe, fawn, and I didn't
You,
have any bucks.
you found my anchor?
Bear, bear. I was like, oh,
Found
sweet, a bear. And I click on it again, and there's a dude walking with a fishing rod.
found my anchor?
No,
You found
I did,
I'm gonna
no,
kill you.
did not find an anchor.
Yeah, that is odd. But maybe
Yeah,
he got lost. I don't know.
what the heck? And in the middle of summer, you would get eaten up by bugs. And who walks around in Crocs with no socks or anything in the middle of the woods on the side of a mountain?
Hmm.
You talking about ticks and chiggers or whatever, you're looking to freaking get something.
Yeah, definitely
Poison
weird.
ivy, anything.
Right.
I mean, what's this guy up to? I don't get it.
Yeah, that's definitely
Public
odd.
land is so funky.
Yeah, I mean, in the parking lots, like I don't tell nobody, even if I saw a doe, I always say I didn't see nothing. It's just
Yeah,
I didn't see nothing because some areas, are there's some public lands are hard to find a spot, so you certainly don't want to tell people exactly where you're at, or
right.
even if you can tell them where you're at, but just I didn't see nothing.
Yeah.
That way, because one little thing, they tell their buddy, they tell this guy, just like that the piebald, dude, that spread through this place like wildfire. I couldn't believe I wanted to see how far it would travel. Just I don't know why I did it.
Well,
I was in a mood and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna see what happens. And it spread within a day and a half. I mean, it was
right.
insane.
I could I could tell you another good example is I used to hunt at a buddy's place, and after the hunt was over, when I come back to the truck, he would always meet me and say, "Hey, what'd you see? What'd you see?" And I would tell him. I mean, we were buddies. I was just being honest, telling him what I saw. And he's got a couple neighbors on each side, and obviously they talk, and he would tell them. And the next thing you know, you've got competition now. There's people moving in on where you was at and where you said you seen this, and then I got to the point where it wasn't even enjoyable. And next thing you know, you're not even invited back, and they're hunting what you saw. And I,
Hmm.
I made the mistake one time. I took the video camera out and I actually videoed this big buck and I showed it to him, and I wasn't allowed back. They
Yep.
took over and started hunting that deer. So I learned my lesson real quick that,
Well, I still haven't told anybody about what I caught on camera back in July.
well, I don't lie about it. I just tell them no.
But you're the
I didn't see
I,
any.
I showed you.
Uh huh.
Remember what I saw when I
Which one?
was with the spotting scope?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. That was a good one.
I've never showed anybody that.
I
So,
wouldn't.
and
I wouldn't.
I don't even bring it up.
Nope.
But
I wouldn't.
because especially that, you'll have 100 people in there asking
Yeah.
questions. So,
Yeah,
which
and
I'm
that's a good
sure,
one. So everybody's gonna be after that.
yeah, I'm sure other people saw that too, just from driving up and down
Yeah.
the road. But
Yeah, they do,
um,
but maybe they don't have access to it or permission,
right,
or
yeah. So
that's how that deer got that big.
yeah, um, you just got to be even on private land. You don't want to be bragging, to your
No,
neighbors or to a
no, I don't post pictures like over here
no.
at my destination plots. I don't post any pictures.
One, you have a small community there. One person sees it, and then
Yeah,
it's spread out.
yeah. Well, I have some trespassing neighbors anyhow, so
Yeah, you do.
um,
You need to
I
set up
don't.
booby traps.
Yeah. Well, like I said, if something happens to the mother-in-law someday and I have partial control of that property, my brother-in-law and I have already decided it's getting locked up solid and there's going to be some repercussions.
Hmm. Yep.
But right now the mother-in-law's soft on her
Approach.
approach to controlling the trespassing problem.
Nah.
She gets upset about it, but she's not willing to do anything about it yet.
Hmm.
So,
Well, one day.
yep, yep, the place could be locked up solid. Can't
So
wait.
real. So before we wrap this up here, just give out a list of things real quick. Some do's, public land do's and don'ts that you can think of in your top of your head, real quick.
Okay, as far as dues, the dues are harder than the don'ts. But the dues go in, pay your dues. Go in, do your scot and do your due diligence.
Please
Respect,
scout.
yeah, respect the animal and the landowner. Um, Even though it's public land, still, don't be littering and leaving shell casings or shotgun hulls or whatever. You know, just treat it like your own. That's my
Hmm.
biggest thing. Is treat it like your own, or you're not going to have that place for the future. And that's one of the worst things that I see on public is people not respecting the trust that the landowner gave them to be in there. That's my biggest pet peeve right there. So that's one of your do's. Um, don'ts. There again, don't be littering, don't leaving stuff behind. Um, Another do could be, if you see somebody that needs help them out. You know, um, I mean, there's many times I've seen some old fella dragging a deer or something. Give the old guy a hand. He he might be hunting solo. He might be there by himself. Help the guy out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, don't be like Dave and spreading rumors.
Mm-hmm. Don't do that. Definitely.
Got me choking now. Um, let's see, what could another do be? Um,
Don't set up near somebody. If you see somebody set up, move
well,
away.
yeah, that was going to be on my next list of don'ts. Um, okay, let's change that around to a do. If you see somebody, get away from them. You know, it's public. It's open domain. Go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
If you scotted well enough, you should have more than one spot. You
Oh yeah.
shouldn't get upset if you go in and you see someone near where you want to be. Just go
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Always have
You know,
multiple spots.
and don't on that same line, don't go up and confront them.
I know.
It's
I know.
public land. Don't get in someone's face and be like, "Yeah, I gotta stand here. I've been hunting this for 20 years." Don't do that
Mm-hmm.
because you know they might hunt that spot that one night and not see anything and never come back.
Mm-hmm.
If you go up there and you get in their face and get all ignorant with them, and they're going to figure, wow, this guy's really defending the spot. It must be really good. I'm going to keep coming back and agitating them. You know, you may have caused your own problem. I mean,
Yep.
look at it from that angle.
In
A lot.
Maryland, we don't have that issue a lot because we can't keep stands there. You have to take
Oh,
them out.
yeah,
So
that's
when you
true.
go into a public land spot and somebody's there, they just hung a stand.
Right, right. Another do would be practice with your weapon. Jeez,
Hmm.
don't.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
take 90-yard shots with a
Well, that
crossbow.
that deer you saw with 3 legs quite possibly could have been a hunting accident,
Could have been.
which took that doe's leg.
Very possible.
Um, do your respectable things.
I mean, to shoot a deer in the rear leg,
Something
I
could have
mean,
happened. I mean,
too far. Somebody took a silly shot. I mean, or maybe a guy hit by a car. I mean, I don't know, but
yeah.
um, yeah,
No,
definitely practice for
I
sure.
like I like respecting the animal, respecting the property owner, and leave the property like you found it. You
Hmm.
know, those are your do's and your don'ts. Obviously, don't mess up.
Yeah.
You know,
Don't tell your parking lot buddies what you saw or where you're hunting at. I mean, if
yeah. I
if
mean,
if that doesn't, I mean, if that sort of thing bothers you, don't tell them. If you don't care, then go ahead and tell them. But just
you
don't
can not
complain.
care, but it's
Yeah,
gonna bite them in the end.
it is. Yeah, just don't complain at the end when you got
Yes.
20 people on a ridge somewhere in the far back that you're trying to get away from everybody.
Yeah.
That people are in there because always think about this piebald that I spread a rumor about. Look how fast. What?
Yep.
How fast did it spread today? What about tomorrow and then
Hmm.
all next week and the whole season? Hey man, there's a
Yeah.
piebald at the end of that road down there. That end
Yeah.
of the road is going to be filled with people, and this piebald is going to spread throughout this entire public land.
Well, here's the other thing. Don't share your photos. And if you kill something, get out of there as stealthy as you can and don't
I know.
tell
I
anybody
know.
about it,
Yep.
you know? And be real vague about where you've killed something, you
Yep.
know?
Yeah.
I mean, the only way you should have to share that information is if you shot something that's big enough for a record book and you have to prove where you've got it.
Hmm.
You know, that video I made about that Alexander buck is still blowing up. I'm not getting many comments on it anymore, but there's still a lot of views coming to that video, and there we haven't heard anything about it except that you know I guess he gave up and got arrested.
Hmm.
So obviously something illegal happened. So Yeah. I mean, there was a whole do and don't situation there,
Hmm.
you know?
Even though it was private, you still have do's and don'ts.
Yeah. I mean, it was private land, and his father was a law enforcement officer, so everybody trusted that he was doing the right thing and being honest. And he kept saying about that too. Why would I be talking openly about this if it wasn't true? And it's just one big cover up, sounds like. And yeah, do's and don'ts. That one bit him in the rear.
Hmm.
And look at how it blew up.
Right.
If he had just killed that deer and kept quiet, no problem. But he brought it to the forefront, made a big deal out of it, lied
Hmm.
about it, and then lied about it so often that he thought it was reality.
Yep.
And somehow he got stung.
Yeah, you can lie about something so much that your mind actually tells you it's true.
Yeah,
Well, you make it real, but
right,
it
right.
happens.
So
Podcast 89, you need an x-ray of your chest, your lungs.
yeah, I think that's on the way.
You're filled with antibiotics.
Yeah, they're killing my system, that's for sure.
They're killing everything in your body from antibiotics.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been
Crazy.
on antibiotics for 15 days. That is
Crazy.
harsh,
Yeah, it is harsh.
really harsh. But I've
Yeah.
had this happen before.
Hmm.
I've went through 3 antibiotics and had to go to the cancer center and get a shot for chemo patients.
What?
Yes.
Because you
Yep.
took too many antibiotics?
Well, because the antibiotics wouldn't clear it up.
Mm.
So I went and got a shot of Neulasta, which is a drug that they give chemo patients before they get their chemo so that their immune system spikes and is good enough to
Gotcha.
accept the chemo. In
Gotcha.
fact, that's what my mom was just getting. She was getting shots of Neulasta as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, I've actually been to the cancer clinic before for the same issue that I'm having now, and it may end up being there again. I don't know.
Spooky.
I said I need this over and done with in the next 3 weeks. I said because I can't be in the woods coughing.
Nope. It's funny. Everything revolves around hunting.
It does for me. I
It
mean,
does. You can't don't make plans for me during hunting season. Get
right,
all the stuff done. Don't
right,
bother. Like I just want to hunt. Don't bother me.
yep,
You get a head cold or you get sick. I gotta have this fixed before hunting season.
yep. And I was always scared to death because I worked in sheet metal. I was always
Hmm.
scared to death of cutting my fingers
Yep.
and getting to the point where I couldn't use my release. I was
Yep.
I was deathly afraid of getting cut, you know, at
Yep.
work.
All right. Podcast 89.
Do's and don'ts, public
Do's and
land,
don'ts. Public land. Be a good person.
no rumor starters.
No rumor starters. Don't start stuff. All
See you
right.
guys later.